collecting every cycle of every length in the race, and then taking the average of that. And so it's not the most accurate, but there could be more details that will tell a bigger, greater picture of the race. But this is the average over the 50, the average over the 200. And so, yeah, this is the rate. You have your cycles per length. So 2 strokes. So 1, 2 is 1 cycle. And so this is, for the length, every length in each race. And then this is the total. So that's just explaining the chart.
Ya, jadi ini data yang dikoleksi nggak betul-betul detail, tapi ini adalah rata-ratanya. Ya, ada data yang lebih detail yang asal punya, tapi yang ditaruh di sini adalah yang rata-ratanya ya, yang didapat.
And you don't have to use this information, especially with little kids. Obviously, I said many times yesterday, technique first. And then as you get more advanced with your older athletes, you can start thinking about using data like this and information like this. But you don't have to. Use what is comfortable for you, use what makes sense for you.
Ya, jadi kita tidak perlu pakai data ini sama atlet kita yang masih kecil. Ya, kalau atletnya udah mulai besar, mulai lomba-lomba, mungkin data-data seperti ini kita perlukan untuk mendukung program latihannya. Tapi untuk anak-anak kecil-kecil, kita pakai ilmu-ilmu yang nyaman yang kita punya.
So, and there are more details to this. So, if you want to know, let's say, I'll show you in a freestyle event. So this is the women's 100 and 200 freestyle. And so, like I said, that within the race, actually, how many of you use numbers like this? Use stroke rate?
Siapa yang pakai stroke rate di sini? Yang kalau ada lomba hitung stroke rate-nya. Ada 1, 2.
So a few. Okay. And so within the race, you have different stroke rates in the length. And so I said in that chart that I showed yesterday, and I was just showing before, it's the average over the entire length, but it's not fully representative of what is happening within the race. Because over a race, the stroke rate changes by length. And so just understanding that it's different across. So it's usually slowest on the second 50, gets faster on the third 50, and fastest, usually that's how it goes, is slowest on the second 50, a little bit faster, and then fastest on the fourth 50, usually. But it's different for every athlete, but just understanding that if you want more information, there's more details to using stroke rate to be specific to your race.
Oke ya, jadi kalau kita lihat, kita punya data seperti ini, kita bisa lihat rata-ratanya dari peran-peran yang ikut kejuaraan-kejuaraan levelnya dunia. Ya, kita udah tahu biasanya 50 pertama pasti paling tinggi stroke-nya, ya, karena kita ada momentum dari loncat dan itu kita lanjutkan. Kemudian 50 kedua biasanya turun, 50 ketiga lebih turun lagi karena nyimpen buat 50 terakhir. Tapi ini memang rata-ratanya bisa kita pelajari juga.
And so just for your information, there is information on the asca website, and I have it here. No, it's not there. It is. So this is. Oops. So of course I have to sign in. So this is, I'm gonna start all over again. From the front page of the website, going to educational resources. Right here.
Ya, itu yang bisa dilihat. Jadi kalau Anda semua udah member dari asca, bisa ke websitenya.
Going to performance data library.
Ya ke situ ya. Itu udah lebih lengkap kalau kalian senang.
And you have to sign in for this. Oops, they have a new password. I forgot. And a lot of data, a lot of information. Right now, all of this information is in seconds per cycle, so it's in a different format. So let's see, it's all this information for the different races is in this part of the website, on the asca website. If you are comfortable and want to use data and want to understand what the best athletes are doing.
Ya, kalau mau belajar data dari atlet-atlet hebat, itu ada di website asca. Kalau memang mau serius pelajarin data-data perang-perang dunia, semua bisa langsung diakses di websitenya asca.
I have all the. I also have all the charts in cycles per minute, which is what I think most of the rest of the world uses. In the U.S., we use seconds per cycle, but the rest of the world uses cycles per minute. I have all the information in cycles per minute. I just need to get that on the website.
Ya, tapi ini datanya adalah detik per cycle kalau di Amerika ya. Tapi kalau di Indonesia, di seluruh dunia biasanya kita cycle per menit. Satu cycle itu kalau bebas 2 tangan, kalau umum 2 tangan. Ya hitungannya jadi agak berbeda. Tapi data ini data second per cycle, jadi agak berbeda sekali di Amerika emang.
So, and I wanted to talk about this before breaststroke because breaststroke is really important to understand stroke rate. And so we'll start talking about that now.
Ya, jadi kenapa kita Russell mau menjelaskan stroke rates, karena gaya sangat-sangat penting stroke rates itu.
So when you're talking technique about breaststroke, you're teaching a stroke that is efficient, but you also need to teach a stroke that has multiple stroke rates that can succeed at a long stroke rate and a fast stroke rate.
Ya, bicara beda dan kita itu butuh efisiensi. Selain itu panjang, berarti bernamanya panjang ya, dan banyak sekali pengaruhnya terhadap kecepatan stroke atau gaya.
And for so long, at least in the US, and I do think many parts of the world, breaststroke has only been about being very long and gliding a lot. And how do you hold your glide? And you watch breaststrokers like Adam Peaty and Lily King and the Chinese breaststroker Chin Haiyan, and they can be very long and they can be very fast. So they have both, and so we need to be coaching athletes to allow them to be successful long and also quicker. Same person, long and quick.
Oke, jadi kalau bicara gaya di US tadi Russell bilang kita zaman dulu tuh banyak kita diajarkan kalau gaya itu harus meluncur atau gliding yang panjang ya.
And sorry.
Oke, tapi kalau kita lihat perang dunia sekarang, tadi contohnya ada Adam Peaty, Lily King, kemudian Shin Haiyan dari China yang menang baru. Itu semua berenangnya bisa panjang, tapi bisa juga stroke-nya jadi pendek. Jadi kita sebagai pelatih harus melatih kedua-duanya.
And what I've seen in the US is that most swimmers don't know how to do fast tempo, fast rate properly. And the best way to do a fast rate is you glide less, so less glide. You bring your heels up faster for your kick. But you don't try to pull faster. So it's, you glide less, you bring your heels up faster, but you don't pull harder. You don't pull faster. The pull stays the same speed.
Oke ya, jadi cara melatihnya, karena banyak yang nggak tahu cara melatih perang-perang gede untuk bisa punya rate yang cepat dan efisien. Itu caranya adalah ini step-stepnya ya. Jadi luncurannya dikurangi, kakinya, tubingnya lebih cepat naik ke atas, tapi tangannya tidak lebih cepat. Ya, putaran gerakan tangannya tidak cepat dan tarikannya tidak lebih kuat. Agak aneh, nanti kita dengerin lagi ya penjelasannya.
So, for example, Chin Haiyan, the Chinese breaststroker that won the 50 breast, the 100 breast, the 200 breast at World Championships. This was his stroke rate in those 3 events. In the 200 breast, his second 50, like I said, is pretty normal, is the slowest of the stroke rates. Gets a little bit faster in the third 50, gets the fastest of the 200 in the fourth 50. His first 50 of the 100 is faster than that, his second 50 of the 100 is even faster than that, and his 50 breaststroke is 66 cycles per minute, which is more than twice faster than the 200 breast second 50. So this same athlete has to be very long and very fast. Even if you're talking just the last 50 of the 200 breast, much faster than the second 50, the last 50 of the 100 breast, much faster than the second 50 of the 200 breast.
Ya, jadi ini adalah data dari Chin Haiyan, stroke rates-nya. Ya, itu ini dia dapat medali emas di 50, 100 dan 200 di World Champ gaya-gaya. Kalau kita lihat di situ stroke rate-nya bisa dilihat ya, dia berenang 200 itu panjang-panjang ya, meskipun 50 terakhirnya dia cepat, tapi waktu berenang 100, 50 pertamanya aja lebih cepat dari 50 terakhir waktu dia sprint di 200. Kemudian waktu berenang 50 itu 2 kali kecepatannya, 2 kali lebih cepat daripada 50 kedua di 200 rate-nya. Jadi orang yang sama bisa melakukan gerakan dada-dada yang panjang dan juga bisa berubah jadi cepat sekali.
And I think the other thing to note here, and this is what Chin Haiyan does, is as the race gets long, towards the end of the race, your stroke rate has to get faster. The second 50 is faster than the first 50 at 100 breast. The last 50 is faster than is the fastest of the race. So when you are more tired, that is when your stroke rate is fastest.
Oke, ya, jadi apa yang bisa kita pelajari dari datanya Chin Haiyan adalah 50 terakhir dari setiap jarak lomba itu harus naik stroke rate-nya, harus lebih cepat. Ya, karena di saat perenang itu lebih capek, stroke rate-nya harus naik.
And we can see that this is the average of the top 8 in the last 2 years. This is the average stroke rate of the top 8 in the last 2 years, the same pattern as Chin Haiyan.
Ya, ini adalah data perenang putra dan perenang putri 2 tahun terakhir top 8 dunia. Kalau dilihat stroke rates-nya hampir mirip dengan Chin Haiyan tadi. Ini gaya dada ini ya. Ini yang cara lebih sedikit.
And I also put the you can see it in your packets, where the IM breaststroke, where that falls within the range of the 200. So the 400 IM, the 100, the breaststroke length is around the third 50, and probably in the 200 IM the breaststroke rate is somewhere around the 450.
Ya, jadi itu juga tambahan aja ya, berenang di gaya ganti. Stroke rate di gaya ganti di putra 400 gaya ganti ada di range-nya dari sekitar 52 dan 50 ketiga. Ya, kalau di putri di sekitar 50 ketiga. Dan keempat, stroke rates untuk gaya dada ganti.
And in the US, this is very common. I don't know how common people use tempo trainer in other countries. Actually, in the athletes that I have worked with other countries, they're familiar with it too. But yeah, this is a great way, an easy way to monitor tempo and monitor your stroke rate is with the tempo trainer, which I saw is in the swim shop back there. So basically, you can clip it to the back of their goggles. You can put it inside. Most of the athletes I know put it inside their cap, and it just beeps. So you put it to a certain number of the tempo and the stroke rate that you want it to be, and it beeps every time. So you go beep, 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 and you have to match your swimming to that rate.
Ya, ini adalah salah satu bentuk latihan stroke rates, bentuknya tempo ya. Tempo trainer ada dijual di situ. Saya kayaknya, tapi ini sering banyak dipakai di perang-perang Amerika ya. Biasanya bisa disangkutin di kacamata, tapi juga bisa diselipin di topi berenang, rata-rata begitu ya. Dan ini diset sesuai dengan apa yang kita mau supaya atlet tersebut berenang sesuai dengan tempo yang kita mau.
So the tempo trainer will help an athlete. I would say you have to match the beeping. And another way you can do it is with the Finis Smart Goggle, which it will tell you what you're doing. So the tempo trainer tells you what to do, and the Smart Goggle tells you what you're doing. And so if you just want to see if you're changing stroke rate within a length or from length to length, the Smart Goggle will be a much easier way to monitor that. It will tell you, so it is pretty cool. Basically, it's what Nathan was talking about in his video. You clip this little device, and I saw it back at the swim shop too. You clip a little device in the goggle, and it shows it in the goggle. And I've tried it on too, and it is pretty cool how you can see it, and you can still see what you're looking at, but it will tell you what stroke rate you're swimming at.
Oke, ini adalah alat kedua, namanya smart goggles ya, ada dijual juga di situ kalau misalnya harganya 4 juta. Ya, kalau tempo trainer ini Anda mengajarkan kepada atlet melakukan apa yang harus dia lakukan. Kalau smart goggle ini dia tahu berapa stroke rate yang dia kerjakan. Jadi kalau ini dia ngikutin, kalau itu dia tahu 50 pertama saya sekian, 50 kedua saya sekian. Ya cocoknya sih pakai itu, terus juga pakai ini samping. Mahal lebih.
And so I didn't get the joke, but
I said it's very expensive because I recommend using this and this.
Oh, yeah, perfect. And I would say, I bring it back to breaststroke because breaststroke has the largest range of tempos that are necessary. It has the largest range of stroke rates that are necessary within a race. And it's important to be successful in breaststroke to have good technique, but a technique that allows slow and fast stroke rate.
Ya, kalau gaya dada ini memang penting ya. Kenapa dibicarakan stroke rate terus? Karena tenang, gaya dada ini kadang-kadang kalau gayanya dia panjang itu disuruh cepat biasanya jadinya berubah stroke-nya. Nah itu harus terlatih, makanya alat-alat ini itu bisa membantu mereka untuk latihan speed dan tapi juga latihan panjang.
So as with all the strokes, and as I said yesterday, I asked you to have an open mind about technique. And so as I've talked about breaststroke in the United States in the last year, what I've asked everybody to do is just think about what they're doing, and these are the things that I would recommend. If I were to simplify for all ages what the stroke should be, the foundations of breaststroke, it's pulling more round, so like a circle, pulling more round, kicking less round. So in the US, oftentimes it's kicking like this. No. Kicking less round. So kicking more straight back, pulling more round, not pulling straight back, and leaning into every stroke. Leaning forward, not letting yourself come up. So pulling more round, not pulling straight back, kicking less round, not kicking around, and leaning forward, not coming up.
Oke ya, jadi bicara mengenai teknik gaya ya, Russell menyarankan ada 3 poin ini. Yang pertama, tarikannya harus bulat, ya, bukan yang langsung tarik ke belakang, tapi tarikannya bulat. Kemudian kakinya tidak kaki bulat, jangan pakai yang tarik buka tutup, ya, tapi tarik dan tendang karena arahnya harus langsung ke belakang, bukan muter. Kemudian posisi badannya ya doyong ke depan, jadi bukan naik ke atas, tapi naik doyong ke depan.
And let's talk about the breaststroke pull first. And basically, what I want to see is a lot of words. So I'll go through this one a little bit quicker so we can get to the videos. But basically, I want to see the stroke flow very smoothly, and in order to do that, it has to be circle. This is opposite of what I talked about with backstroke and freestyle yesterday. We're trying to pull water straight back. Breaststroke, I'm trying to be smooth from here to here. It's trying to be smooth from when you transition to the forward. And the more straight back you are, the more it gets stopped, and then go. So I want to be round so that you can very smoothly flow forward.
Ya, yang paling pertama tarikannya harus bulat, ya, harus bulat supaya lebih lancar, jadi nggak ada berhentinya. Kalau kita pakai power, ini beda dengan bebas sama punggung kemarin ya. Bebas kita harus tarik, dorong airnya ke belakang sekuat mungkin. Kalau dada justru berbeda, kita harus putar karena kalau kita langsung dorong ke belakang ada masa di mana kita akan berhenti gayanya. Jadi gayanya berhenti, nggak smooth, nggak lancar.
And I think keep in mind with breaststroke that the pull can help. Being a good puller and pulling a lot of water helps, but that's not the whole. It's not the result. That's not what you're trying to get. You're trying to be very good here. And you need to know that the pull is just part when you're cooking. If you're cooking a food, the pull is just part, it's just one ingredient. And too much of it will spoil the recipe. It won't be the best food at the end if you have too much of one thing. And that's what the pull can do. It's too hard here, like many people do in other strokes. When you want to go faster in freestyle, you pull harder. In breaststroke, you can't do that. When you pull harder, oftentimes it leads to you stopping here. And so it's the same thing. It's just keeping it round, doing less of it, less than what you possibly can in order to be the best going forward.
Ya, jadi mengenai tarikan tangan di dada itu berbeda ya, ini harus benar-benar dipahami. Kalau gaya bebas kita bisa mau benar-benar lebih cepat, kita tarik lebih kuat. Kalau di dada enggak, itu nggak akan terjadi. Ya, justru gaya dada kita mau semakin lancar gerakannya. Ya, bukan ditarik ke belakang, tapi tetap bentuknya lingkaran karena yang terpenting bukan nariknya, tapi recovery-nya pas dia meluncur. Ya, jadi fokusnya di situ. Jadi gimana caranya supaya cepat balik ke sini? Ya, bukan seberapa kuat.
And looking at this video, so we have somebody here that is a lot wider in their stroke. This person is a lot wider, coming around, and this person is pulling straight back. And this stroke, this person is one of the best 18 and under swimmers, IMers, breaststrokers in the US, and her stroke moves wider, you can see there, and then comes inward. It is round like a circle. And this person is just pulling more straight back. This pull is much better.
Ya, jadi ada dua video berenang di sini, yang sebelah kanan saya ya, sebelah kiri kalian itu gayanya lebih bagus. Jadi ada juara gaya usia 18 tahun. Ya, kalau dilihat di stroke-nya dia lebih lebar gayanya. Sementara yang di sebelah sini dia tarikannya ke dadanya, dan itu membuat ada berhenti gayanya. Jadi yang sebelah sana yang jauh lebih bagus.
So the other thing that I love about this stroke is that she doesn't squeeze her elbows, that the elbows stay out to the side, the elbows stay over here, and they don't come in here. So it's so important to be fast here, to not squeeze the elbows. By squeezing the elbows, to be fast here, you want to have your arms go forward and also your body go forward. And the only way your body can go forward is if you leave your elbows out. Because this space, call this the triangle of space, is where your shoulders and your body goes into. And if you squeeze your elbows, you can't go in there.
Ya, jadi kalau kita lihat video tadi, ini berbeda dengan zaman kita dulu ya. Kita disuruh pakai power, ya kan? Sikunya disuruh nempel. Tapi kalau kita lihat sekarang banyak orang dada yang tidak pakai power di sininya, tapi powernya adalah ke depannya. Karena kita harus membuat segitiga, ya, di mana kepala dan bahu kita harus masuk ke dalam segitiga itu pada saat tangan kita recovery atau lempar ke depan.
And just another example of someone who pulls more straight back. Again, this is what makes breaststroke so unique, is that it is, when you pull straight back, you come up and down, up and down. You want to keep it round and leaning forward.
Ya, ini adalah contoh yang peran gaya dada yang narik ke belakang, bukan yang muter gaya tarikan tangannya ya. Jadi ini unik, gaya dada ini paling unik ya. Kalau kita tariknya ke belakang, yang terjadi adalah gerakannya naik turun, bukan maju ke depan.
And this athlete is pulling too narrow, not going wide enough and making a circle enough. And this athlete is pretty good at the other strokes and wants to just pull more water because that is what they're used to doing.
Ya, ini adalah perenang ini sangat bagus di gaya yang lain. Jadi gaya dada ini gaya terlemahnya, dan kalau dilihat tadi tarikannya ke belakang. Karena dia bagus di gaya lain, waktu di gaya dada dia mau melakukan sesuatu yang sama dengan gaya yang lainnya. Jadi dia mau pakai powernya untuk narik ke belakang. Ini yang terjadi. Ya, harusnya lebar supaya gayanya tidak berhenti-berhenti.
And then adjusting the same athlete to pulling a little bit wider. And this was very difficult for her because she doesn't feel like she's grabbing as much water. But this is this same athlete going wider with the first stroke, and I liked it a whole lot more. It looked a lot better. We didn't measure it on this 25, just trying to make the technique changes, but just trying to have her hands go wider here to be more around.
Ya, ini adalah contoh dari atlet yang sama. Yang tadi ya, kalau tadi dia langsung tariknya ke belakang, bengkok. Ini dicoba sama Russell untuk melakukan tarikan yang lebar sekali, super wide bilangnya ya. Jadi lebar sekali, tapi ya nggak lebar juga kalau kita lihat. Tapi dia berusaha untuk membuat supaya stroke-nya lebih bulat, tarikan tangannya lebih membentuk lingkaran atau bulatan.
And then taking a look at two senior athletes in the US, or maybe just one club senior athlete. She's 16 years old, was at the World Junior Championships for the US, and just looking at her pull and how fast it is here first.
Ya, ini adalah perwakilan dari atlet Amerika ke kejuaraan dunia junior, ya, lihat seberapa cepat atlet ini kembali kepada posisi recovery atau lemparan ke depannya.
And looking at it in slow motion, you can see how wide her hands go, and then how her elbows don't squeeze here. The elbows stay out to the side, hands go wide, and then elbows stay out to the side.
Ya, kalau kita lihat di sini seberapa lebar dia buka tangannya, ya, kemudian lihat gelembung-gelembung udaranya, tidak ada penekanan di sikunya. Jadi dia nggak tekan sikunya, tapi berusaha kembali kepada posisi ke depan atau meluncur.
And you know, in the U.S., looking at little kids, when I'm trying to teach breaststroke, I'm trying to have them, make circles with their hands. The cues that I use, the things that I'm telling little kids, is go circle into triangle, circle into triangle. And that's kind of the biggest thing. The second thing I say is that the fastest part of the stroke, of the pull, is at the end of the triangle. So circle into triangle, and fastest at the end of the triangle.
Oke, ya, jadi caranya Russell untuk melatih gaya dada adalah buat gerakan lingkaran kepada segitiga, kemudian secepat-cepatnya mendorong, ya, dan kepala dan badannya masuk ke dalam segitiga itu. Jadi stepnya adalah buat lingkaran segitiga dan cepat ke depan, ya.
So there are two times when you're pulling and swimming breaststroke. I think most coaches can recognize if an athlete is getting stuck here. And so if you're getting stuck here, to me, there's two reasons why that can happen. The first one is you're pulling straight back. You're not coming round enough. When you pull straight back, you end up having to change direction. So you pull, and you have to change directions, right, very directly and very opposite. And that takes some energy and a little bit of time. The second reason why your hands can get stuck is if when you're ready to pull forward, your hands are too deep. So people are pulling, your hands are too deep, and when you're ready to pull forward, you have to wait for your hands to come up. So the two reasons why your hands get stuck, one is pulling straight back, the other is when you're ready to transition forward, the hands are too deep. So just try to make sure that you pull round, and that your hands have to come up to the surface when you're ready to shoot your hands forward.
Oke, ya, jadi gaya dada itu nggak boleh berhenti, ya. Jadi kalau kita jumpain ada atlet kita yang berhenti waktu ngambil napas dia berhenti, itu biasanya ada dua kemungkinan. Yang pertama, dia langsung tariknya langsung ke belakang sehingga dia berhenti karena dia butuh waktu untuk balik lagi. Yang kedua adalah posisi telapak tangannya terlalu bawah sehingga dia butuh waktu untuk mengembalikan ke atas dan meluncur. Jadi biasa berhenti pada saat napas.
So I like what most of these kids aren't elite US kids. They're just a club team that I spent a day with or spent one practice with. But I like what most of them are doing with their hands. This is, again, just from the simple instructions that I gave them. The last thing I want to note, so the pulls I think are mostly good, but the kick, most of these kicks are way too wide. I'm going to talk about the kick next. The kick is just way too big. And that's what I see in most US clubs, and I don't know what it is around the world, but in the US I see most little kids be way too big, and that's what you see here.
Ya, ini adalah peran-peran muda di Amerika yang memang biasa, ya. Kalau dilihat, mereka semua sudah berusaha untuk menarik dengan tarikan yang awal yang lebar. Cuman memang kalau kita lihat kakinya, nah kakinya ini yang terlalu lebar juga. Ya, ini problemnya di Amerika. Rasa nggak tahu di seluruh dunia seperti apa. Saya rasa sama, ya. Pasti banyak anak kecil yang tendangannya itu.
Looking at some breaststroke kicks, so we'll talk about breaststroke kick now. And so what is important, and this is what, again, I said, pulling more round, kicking less round. And so kicking less round, I think the kick is more of like stomping. or so you can call it like a punch kick, like you're punching. So it's more of a punch, more of a stomp, less coming around with the feet.
Ya, bicara tentang kaki gaya dada ya, itu kita harus memberi pengertian bahwa kaki itu harus dihentak ke belakang, bukan muter. Ya, kakinya tendangannya bukan muter tapi menghentak ke belakang.
And you can see this, so I'll show a few examples. This is Qin Haiyan, the Chinese breaststroker, and you look at his feet, pushing. Yes, the feet are separate, but they don't come around. The feet mostly push back into a Y, like the letter Y. Is that, everyone can relate to that? So it pushes into a Y is most important.
Jadi kalau kita lihat video tadi ya, kita lihat kakinya Shin Haiyan, ya itu dilihat ya. Kakinya seperti huruf Y, tangannya juga seperti huruf Y. Jadi Y sama Y kebalik. Ya, artinya tendangan kakinya itu langsung ke belakang, nggak muter. Tendangannya langsung arahnya ke belakang, jadi kecil. Kakinya kecil, tendangan gaya dadanya, bukan tendangan yang muter gitu yang lebar ya.
And so when I describe the kick, what I'm trying to get people to do is bring the heels up, push into a Y. So heels up, kind of push here. And then the feet come back together.
Ya, yang biasa dilakukan Pasal adalah mengajari anak-anak untuk tekuk, kemudian tendang, hentak ke bawah, baru balik jadi satu. Jadi bukan tarik, buka, tutup, bukan buka. Instruksinya bukan buka, tapi hentak, itu beda.
So the feet, there's a couple of different directions to this. So the feet also come out and also forward. So, and then come back up. Out and forward, and then come back up.
So you do this on land?
Pardon?
You do this on the land? Like,
Well,
yeah,
just harder to, I guess, demonstrate it.
yeah.
But yeah, that's like, I could do maybe one leg, so it'd be like here, out and down, and then come back up. So, out and down, and then come back up.
Oke ya, jadi kaki gaya dada untuk mengajari ini bisa di darat. Nah, tendangannya ke bawah ya, hentakannya itu ke bawah, bukan hentakan ke belakang, tapi ke bawah, baru balik ke atas. Ya, karena tendangan gaya dada itu ke bawah arahnya, hentakannya ke bawah.
And you can see there's just a few other examples of the women now. Ruta Naliutite, who won the 100 breaststroke this summer at World Championships, saying it's not a squeezing kick. Is that pretty normal, would you say? I mean, in the US, like the cue that most people use, most teachers use is squeeze. And I'm trying to move people away from that because the propulsion breaststroke is more from pushing, not from squeezing. Yeah, whip, love that, yes.
Oke, itu kalau kita lihat ya, si Ruta itu ya, itu juara dunia gaya dada. Lihat posisi kakinya ya, kita bilangnya itu lecutan ya, kaki itu kayak ngelecut ke bawah ya. Kalau lecut itu kan ke bawah gitu ya, jadi tendangannya seperti itu.
And one more example, this is Tatiana Schoenmaker from South Africa, 200 breaststroke, and you can see multiple things. You see also the shape of the pole and how round it is, and she's a little bit more narrow, but like still comes out and around, and then underwater you see down and up, down, whip, kick down, and then the feet come back up.
Ya, ini Tatiana Schoenmaker ini ya, dari South Africa. Dia kakinya juga sama ya, posisi kakinya tarikan, kemudian tendangannya ke bawah atau lecut hentakannya ke bawah, kemudian balik ke atas. Dan kalau dilihat tarikan tangannya juga lebar, ya membentuk segitiga, meskipun segitiganya agak lebih kecil, tapi kita bisa lihat flow-nya atau lebih lancar gayanya, nggak ada berhentinya.
And then Yeah, looking at this is very common in the US, like I was talking about. So these are some 9, 10-year-old children, swimmers, and you see how wide that kick is. Not good.
Ya ini yang banyak kejadian di Amerika, anak kecil itu kakinya lebarnya seperti itu. Ya banyak juga di Indonesia ya kan. Ya sama sebetulnya.
Very common in the US. Would you say this is common in? Okay.
Same thing.
And so I'm trying to do less of this. And also, the other thing I see is sometimes people that kick way too narrow. And so this is someone, like, I think the knees should be comfortable, and this person, the knees are like too close. So I want the knees to be about hip width. Be comfortable. You're basically jumping, and so you don't jump with your knees like this. You jump with your knees comfortable. So this is too narrow. You don't have to have your knees comfortable.
Ya kalau ini adalah contoh justru terlalu kecil jarak lututnya ya, karena kita kalau mau loncat kita kayak loncat biasa aja, posisinya biasanya lututnya selebar pinggul kita, tapi tidak lebih kecil ya, karena ini juga nggak maksimal karena posisinya nggak nyaman.
But with this athlete, I do love the pull and how round they are.
Tapi kalau kita lihat gerakan tangannya bagus, ya karena dia betul-betul buat gerakan yang bulat, tarikannya bulat.
And again, looking at this is a U.S. World Junior Team athlete, and I really like what they're doing with the kick. And I'll slow this down. I think I'll slow it down. No, it just plays fast. But yeah.
Ini salah satu perenang Amerika ya, suka dengan gerakan kakinya.
Oh, it does. Okay, I forgot that I have in this video. It plays different views. So yeah, I like that the kick goes down, the foot goes deeper, and then comes back up.
Ya lihat posisi kakinya, tendang ke bawah terus balik ke atas.
So extend down and wide, and then come back up. Down and then up. Down and up. But mostly the force, the propulsion is from down. Is from this forward kick. This is important.
Ya, jadi yang paling penting dari gerakan kaki adalah tendangan ke bawahnya, karena kelajuan berenang itu gaya dada tergantung pada tendangan ke bawah.
And another US successful 16-year-old, 15-year-old, same thing. You can see the different parts of the stroke, but I like that what the feet are doing here. Kicking out, not kicking around, not too wide. And you see the same thing, kind of down, kicking down, and then the feet come up.
Ya ini juga salah satu contoh perenang 15 tahun yang cukup sukses di berenang gaya dada. Lihat kakinya ya, yang di gambar itu kakinya tidak terlalu lebar ya, dan tendangannya ke bawah.
So I'm sure for many of you this is like a lot different. And because in the US, it is a lot different. And so how do I teach this, and what are the things that I recommend, things that I've tried? So this is some of the things that I like to do. First, with this is just narrow, keeping the feet and just going like this. So knees up and push back, knees up and push back.
Ya ini adalah drill yang dilakukan oleh Russell untuk membuat anak-anak yang tendangannya terlalu lebar jadi kecil. Ya, jadi cuma ditekuk, tendang, tekuk, tendang.
And this is much closer to a good kick than somebody who's kicking around. This is much closer. It's just a drill. They're not moving very fast, but this is much closer to what it should look like than someone who's going like this, someone who's trying to squeeze.
Ya, dan drill ini, gerakan ini itu lebih cocok ya dengan teknik yang bagus ketimbang kakinya terlalu lebar. Jadi mendingan tendangannya kecil seperti ini. Padahal ini dilakukan di drill.
I don't have a good name for this drill, so you can name it if you want.
Ya ini boleh dinamain apa aja drillnya ya, terserah kita.
But then I moved from this to what I said, being like moving your kick into the letter Y is important. So I have these athletes basically bring their feet up and come out to a Y and pause, and then the feet come back together.
Ya ini drillnya surface Y ya, huruf Y. Jadi ditarik buat seperti kayak huruf Y balik, berhenti bentar terus baru gabung lagi kakinya.
And this is so much closer again to what the kick should look like when you're racing well versus a kick that comes around. So knees up, push out to a Y, pause, and then the feet can come together.
Ya, jadi ini juga mendekati teknik gerakan kaki dada yang benar. Ya, jadi dengan cara tarik, tendang, terus berhenti, terus baru nutup balik.
And then I moved to a deep Y, so the feet and knees come up, the feet end deep and separated, and then they come back to the surface. So instead of staying at the surface into a Y, it goes deeper into a Y, the feet end low, lower than the surface, and then come back up.
Ya, ini step selanjutnya. Kalau tadi surface artinya di permukaan air, Y-nya sekarang Y-nya ke bawah baru. Jadi stepnya tadi cuma tarik dorong, tarik, stop di permukaan air, tutup, akhirnya sampai di huruf Y yang turun ke bawah.
I like also, these athletes, this is the first time they're doing this, so not the best, but this is, I think, close to what you'll see when you're trying to first introduce this to your athletes. But I like how the hips come up. I like to see the feet ending low, push the hips high, feet ending low, push the hips up to the surface. Very important.
Ya, jadi yang ada di video ini adalah orang-orang yang melakukan drill ini pertama kali, jadi dia nggak sempurna, tapi yang ditekankan adalah tendangan ke bawah ini atau di Y ini, pinggulnya harus naik ke atas. Ya, waktu tendang ke bawah, pinggulnya naik ke atas.
I think good breaststroker in Southeast Asia, the Singapore breaststroker Nick Mahabir. I mean, his stroke his kick is exactly like this. Really awesome kick, downward, hips come up, and then the pull is very awesome too, in that same way.
Ya, rasa lihat ada perenang Singapura yang gaya dadanya bagus banget ya, 1 menit kalau soal testing 100-nya itu melakukan semua ini, ya gayanya jadi perfect, sempurna gayanya.
And other kicking drills that I like is just vertical kick. So this idea of I want to see, in order to have good tempo and breaststroke, good fast stroke rate, it's bringing the heels up fast. So your stroke rate is dictated by foot speed, by heels coming up quick. And so trying to practice this by having hands at the side, vertical kicking, heels to your hands, bringing heels to hands, and then basically just stomping down. So not kicking around, just going boom, 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 and doing it for 6 seconds. So starting with 6 kicks in 6 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then trying to get faster, going up to 10 kicks in 6 seconds. So that kick speed is heels up fast, heels down fast, heels up fast, heels down fast.
Ya, jadi ini salah satu cara melatih agar kaki gaya dadanya bagus ya, sesuai dengan yang tadi. Itu juga bisa lakukan dengan kaki secara vertikal di dalam air, tangannya di samping. Kemudian instruksinya hanya tumitnya menyentuh pada tangan dan turun kembali. Ya, bisa lakukan 6 kali ya, dengan hentakan ke bawah ya. Stomp down berarti dia menghentak ke bawah, jadi harus ada hentakannya, harus ada powernya. Bukan mencoba untuk ngapung, tapi cepat hentakan ke bawahnya ya. Dan setelah 6 kali bisa jadi 8 kali ya. Bisa naik sampai 10 kali kalau sudah lebih kuat.
And then doing it from vertical kicking, you can do it against the wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Trying to do 10 kicks in 6 seconds. That's what Adam Peaty gets up to, is 10 kicks in 6 seconds. And Adam Peaty's coach, and Adam Peaty got it from the Japanese coach who coached Kosuke Kitajima.
Oke, habis progresnya ya, setelah bisa dilatih secara vertikal, kita bisa suruh anak-anak untuk mendorong di dinding ya, nempel di dinding, pegangan dinding dan dilakukan sama persis ya, hentakan ya, dan diusahakan mereka bisa melakukan 10 kali tendangan dalam 10 detik. 10 tendangan dalam 6 detik. Jadi itu goalnya itu. Kalau itu tidak tercapai berarti belum kurang cepat.
Again, foot speed, heel speed. Bringing your heels up fast is so important to stroke rate.
Ya, intinya kalau kakinya mau stroke rate-nya mau bisa cepat, itu kuncinya adalah seberapa cepat tumit ini bisa ke atas.
And moving on to looking at drills for the pull, I like, and this is very basic. This is very basic. It is just breaststroke pull with a flutter kick, and it's hard. It takes a lot of energy. You're not gliding here very much. It has to be fast, slow to fast, slow to fast. And so breaststroke pull, flutter kick needs to have that kind of energy because that's what you're trying to do when you're swimming. You're trying to not be slow to slow. That is bad breaststroke. It is slow to fast, slow to fast.
Ya, ini drill yang biasa ya, dari dada kakinya bebas. Dan ini tujuannya melakukan drill ini untuk supaya cepat kembali kepada posisi meluncur ya. Jadi gerakan awalnya pelan cepat ya. Dan ini bisa dilakukan dengan kaki bebas.
And I like starting with small pull. So small because the bigger you pull, it just makes, usually an athlete will pull too big and slow down. So I like keeping it small first, like you have here, and then moving that to be bigger, which is more accurate or more like what it is normally. So, but when they go from small circle to big circle, the same thing. Slow to fast, slow to fast.
Oke, jadi yang tadi itu small circle ya. Latihannya pertama bulatannya kecil, kemudian next step-nya atau langkah selanjutnya baru lingkarannya besar.
And then looking at dolphin kick, this is also pretty common, is breaststroke pull dolphin kick. What I want to see, so oftentimes when I see athletes in the US do breaststroke pull and dolphin kick, they dive down with their hands. Don't want that. Want to see the hands stay high, and how do you keep the hands high and forward is the kick needs to go down. The kick needs to go down and deep, so the hips come up and the body stays forward. So most of the times in the US, I see athletes go breaststroke pull dolphin kick and they dive down with the hands. And that's not really accurate. You want to try to make the kick push you forward and stay high.
Oke, ini juga salah satu drillnya, tangannya dada, kakinya kuku, ya. Tapi kalau kita lihat di sini tujuannya, ingat banyak perenang gaya dada itu tujuannya ke bawah. Ya, kalau kita melakukan drill ini, kita mau mereka tujuannya ke depan. Ya, jadi dengan kaki yang kuat, pinggulnya naik, arahnya ke depan.
And then, in terms of the shape of the pull, and kind of this like a progression that I like with pulling and sculling. So I like there's two that I don't have video of, but it would be first it would just be going out and in. The first drill, the first go would be going out and in, very basic, and the second one would be just the start of it, so going out and then fingers down and then coming back, out and fingers down and coming back. So just trying to emphasize this first part of the stroke, which alone isn't going to move you forward and fastest, but it sets up how round that is and how important that is.
Oke ya, ini nggak ada videonya, rasa nggak ada videonya, tapi intinya skala out itu kita lakukan seperti ini aja ya, dua tangan kanan kiri, kemudian skala ini berarti dia ada tambahannya, skala turun, balik lagi ya, skala turun, balik lagi. Jadi itu cuma memberikan ide kepada mereka untuk supaya mereka bisa merasakan seberapa perlu lebarnya tarikan mereka.
And then, so I go from those two skulls, and I like to see what I talk about is going into a circle with the palms, and then I want to see palms come up to the face. So as I said, one of the reasons why kids get stuck in the breaststroke pull is the hands are too deep here. So I want to see circle, palms to the face, and then maybe shoot forward. So, yeah.
Kemudian drill selanjutnya, ini pakai snorkel ya, kadang kan matanya kepalanya harus tetap ada di posisi bawah, ya itu jadi dia setelah buletan secepat-cepatnya telapak tangannya balik ke depan wajahnya.
And you see, I mean, like most coaches, most people think that people get stuck because the elbows come too far back. That is not the case. They get stuck again from things I talked about, pulling directly back or the hands being too deep. But you can look at this guy, the elbows are coming back and he's not getting stuck because his hands are at the surface ready to push forward.
Ya, kebanyakan perenang-perenang gaya itu berhenti karena tangannya terlalu belakang misalnya ya. Tapi bukan itu sebabnya. Sebabnya adalah karena mereka menarik dorong ke belakang, itu yang buat mereka stuck. Jadi dengan drill ini mereka bisa tidak berhenti ya, karena mereka harus cepat-cepatnya telapak tangannya harus bisa dilihat oleh matanya sendiri.
And then my last slide, just a summary of different language, different things I like to say to athletes. So first thing is, circles, not squares. Circles, not squares, into a triangle.
Ya, ini adalah beberapa teknik instruksi yang biasa digunakan oleh Russell ya. Bulat, bukan kotak dalam gaya-gaya ya. Instruksinya bulat, bukan kotak, ke segitiga. Ya.
And then the last stroke of every race, so the last stroke into the finish, everybody usually goes boom, like really hard. Every stroke should be like that. So every stroke should be like the last stroke into the finish. Every stroke needs to be that much energy into the ascension, into the glide.
Ya, jadi selanjutnya adalah bahasanya sih ekstrim ya, bahasanya dia attack forward, artinya dia harus secepat-cepatnya balik setiap stroke atau setiap gaya harus secepat-cepatnya balik ke depan.
And then you have a hammer, you're hammering something in, and you're hitting the hammer into the nail, and the nail hits the wall. So basically the same thing is that the head is the hammer and the hands are the nails. That makes sense. And really, do people use hands, right?
Ya, itu juga cara ngasih instruksinya ya. Jadi kepala itu ibaratnya palu, ya tangannya itu paku. Ya, jadi waktu mau meluncur itu kepalanya paku harus menghantam pakunya. Jadi kepalanya harus nyusul. Ya, kepalanya harus nyusul tangannya. Jangan terlambat.
And then stomping and kick, like stomping the ground.
Ya, kemudian kakinya juga menghentak ke bawah, ya, kayak menghentak lantai.
And create the line, then kick the line. So create the line, get your body in line, and then kick the line.
Ya, jadi buat badan lurus dulu, baru tendangan. Ya, ini masalah timing ya. Jadi kita harus, kalau lihat stepnya tadi, ya kepalanya harus cepat memukul pakunya, baru kakinya menghentak.
It's not kicking yourself into the line, not this. It is you are in the line and then kicking.
Ya, jadi bukan berbarengan kaki dan lemparan tangan tidak berbarengan, tapi lempar tangannya kepala masuk baru kakinya terakhir.
So I didn't talk about time. Let me just kind of explain that a little bit more. So basically, the way the time works is you're pulling, you get to here, the feet are coming up as the hands are extending. So you are pulling, your feet come up as the hands extend, and then kick.
Oke.
Ya, jadi stepnya itu tangan tarik dulu, baru tangan tarik, ya kan, baru kaki tumingnya masuk ke belakang, ya tangannya dilempar sama kepalanya masuk ke dalam segitiga, baru kakinya nahan takulan. Itu timing.
Triangle.
And most little kids have good timing with their feet. It's when things get faster. The arms get faster, but the feet don't get faster.
Ya, kebanyakan anak-anak kecil itu kalau berenang pelan, timingnya sudah benar, tapi dia disuruh cepat. Nah, itu dia kadang-kadang semuanya jadi berantakan.
And so with that, if you want faster stroke rate, again, I'll repeat it from the beginning. It is gliding less, and your heels come up faster. Those are the things. When I watch all the best breaststrokers who can do 100, a 50, 100, and 200, their hands don't change. They don't pull faster. They're gliding, they're spending less time here. Their pull isn't faster. The pull from here to here to here stays the same speed.
Ya, dan yang sudah selidiki di seluruh perenang-perenang top dunia pada saat mereka menambah kecepatan, putaran tangannya nggak tambah cepat. Ya, putaran tangannya itu nggak tambah cepat, cuman luncurannya aja lebih sedikit. Ya, tapi putaran tangannya sama.
Stop.
So I just remember, I didn't include this, but I did remember just some sculling. So this is not correct. Yeah, so this is Lydia Jacoby, the gold medalist in the 100 breaststroke. Just some sculling work that we were doing, me and her coach, with her. So I just wanted to show this. This is off the slides. I finished the slides. But just some of the skull work she does, just to kind of keep her stroke moving. And so she goes, the first one was just sculling. She has a very wide pull, and then moving into just a little bit more underwater with the flutter kick. But I like the pull that she has, so good.
Ya, ini salah satu juara dunia juga ya, orang dada ini. Drill pertamanya adalah sekali, ya, pakai pull buoy. Terus drill kedua tadi pakai kaki kayak bebas, ya, untuk dan dia ini salah satu yang tarikannya, bentuk tarikannya itu lebar.
It's very wide in her stroke.
Ya, seberapa lebar ya stroke dadanya.
And let's see, she'll go skull into swimming.
Ya, ini juga variasi dari drill, sekali kemudian berenang, sekali berenang.
And this is right before she went. So last week she went. I think she went 105 in the 100 breaststroke. Siobhan Hawkey beat her, but or maybe it was 106 low, but it was pretty fast. And so right before she was just doing, you can see what her stroke looked like right before. She doesn't have a good pull out though, but I'll slow this down.
Ya ini kalau nggak salah catatan waktunya 1:06 terus nanti gaya-gayanya
with a wide pole.
ya lebar gerakan tangannya ya.
Actually, just some pace, 50 right before the breaststroke race. But the hands are wide, pushing out to the side, and then coming around in the stroke. You see the timing, and then the feet are coming up now. The feet, like
Ya pada posisi itu kakinya belum bergerak. Ya pada posisi dia bentuk segitiga dari bulat ke segitiga kakinya belum bergerak ya tadi ya.
and then pushing back with the feet. And you can see when she's extended, her feet are separated, so they're out here, and then they come up together.
Ya jadi dengan timing yang tepat tadi arahnya ke depan. Kemudian kalau kita lihat videonya nggak ada yang ke bawah ya. Dadanya semua ke depan, dorongannya lebar bentuk segitiga, lempar baru tendang ya kan. Tangannya lempar, kepalanya masuk baru mulai tendangan.
And yeah, from above water, you can see how wide the stroke is, and then comes around in a circle.
Ya lihat dari atas kelihatan seberapa lebar tangannya.
Okay, questions?
Ada pertanyaan?
Many questions. We'll wait for the mic. Okay, here we go. Yep.
Terima kasih. Saya cuma mau bertanya sih kalau masalah gaya dari ini, seberapa penting sih perannya pinjam dalam gaya dari ini? Karena kita pernah punya dari Indonesia itu IBB itu dengan catatan waktu di 26 detik. Tapi kalau kita lihat sama-sama value itu kayak pinggangnya itu kayak nggak mau diem gitu. Iya main kan ya. Iya makanya kan saya tanyakan peran pinggang ini seberapa penting sih di gaya dan terima kasih.
How important is the hips in breaststroke because identity usually use the hips movement very
Yeah, so hips, the way I think hips are important are I'm trying to get the hips up. So kicking down to get the hips up. I'm not, in the US, I'm not sure what you mean. So in the US, some people I've heard talk about bringing the hips forward, and I've never really, that's not language that I use or things that I want people to talk about or I think about because when I think of somebody pulling the hips forward, usually it means dropping. So I want the hips to stay high, and then I want them to come even higher when they kick. So hips stay high, and then I want them to I want them to come up as you kick down. And so when I'm thinking about hips, I'm talking about the hips coming up as a kick, but it is a little bit different. I mean, from some people who talk about like pulling the hips in, and that used to be, I don't hear it as much in the US, and people talking about that as much, but I know is that kind of what you think Adam's using the hips for? Yeah. So I do think, like, because his tempo is so big, like, and he comes up so much, I think the important thing is like the flexibility in your lower back to be here and then come forward without dropping the hips. You don't want the hips to come down in the water. So I think like Lily King, for example, comes up very high, but her hips never drop. So I do think like that to me is more of a flexibility in the back. I guess when I'm thinking little kids and younger kids and how you're teaching it to people, I would say it's more related, like thinking about the things I talked about, the shape of the pull, the shape of the kick, is kind of what I'm more talking about with younger kids. And then if you want to add talking about the hips in different ways, I think that's something that can be helpful.
Ya, sebetulnya Pinggul itu bisa membantu, tapi intinya gerak pinggulnya nggak boleh sampai turun ke bawah, karena kalau pinggulnya turun ke bawah itu akan lebih banyak hambatan. Jadi pinggul memang disarankan untuk naik ke atas pada saat tendangan tadi ya, kita pelajari sama-sama. Tapi pinggul itu harus ada di tempat itu, tempatnya tidak berubah waktu kita berada. Jadi pinggulnya ada di posisi itu, pada saat naik juga masih di posisi itu, pada saat tendang dia naik sedikit. Jadi perubahannya di situ. Nggak banyak dibicarakan di Amerika, tapi pinggul itu kalau asal itu lebih cocok untuk pinggulnya dari posisi ini malah naik ke atas sedikit, tapi nggak turun ke bawah.
Next question. Yep.
Alright, actually I have two questions about the head posture when they breathe. And the second is how high should we breathe? The chest level, the shoulder level.
Can you say the first one again?
Alright, the first question is about the head position that we breathe. So where should we look? The eyes levels to be aware. The second is how high should we breathe? Is the chest level or the shoulder level?
Okay, so the first one was on head position, and I like to see head position when you're not breathing, when your head is in line, to be tilted forward. So not necessarily eyes all the way down. As long as I want to see, just make sure that your ears are in between your arms. So most people, a lot of breaststroke, it's okay if your eyes are tilted forward, as long as your ears are between your arms. And then as you're taking the breath, I like to see the eyes looking a little bit more forward, because I think if your head is down and your chin is tucked, I just don't think you're as strong with your arms. And imagine, like, when you're pulling anything, and you're trying to pull, if you do it with your head down versus your head a little bit up, you can just activate a whole lot more muscles. So when you're in line, it's okay if your eyes are tilted forward. If you have your head down, that's fine too. But the more your head is down, the more you have to lift it up. So eyes tilted forward mostly, but ears between the arms. And then as you're pulling, I like to see that the eyes are a little bit more looking forward, because I think you're stronger.
Oke, itu pertanyaan pertama, posisi kepala tadi ya, posisi kepalanya, matanya mesti di mana. Nah, jawaban dari Asal adalah posisi kepala nggak perlu terlalu tunduk ya, posisinya normal aja, yang penting telinganya ada di antara kedua tangan ya, sehingga pada saat kita naik kita tidak menggerakkan kepala terlalu berlebihan. Kalau kita terlalu tunduk kepalanya, pada saat kita mau ngambil napas itu akan, kepala kita akan bergerak, dan itu akan menimbulkan gerakan yang agak berlebihan. Jadi posisinya natural aja, agak lihat serong ke depan ya. Jadi pada saat kita bergerak mengambil nafas itu kepala kita ada di posisi natural yang jauh lebih kuat powernya daripada posisi kita kepalanya tunduk.
And then the second question you mentioned was how high should your chest come up? So I mentioned that I want to see people leaning forward in the stroke. Nick, who I think was silver or bronze at World Championships from the U.S., he's gotten better over the last couple of years, and a big part of it is that he's gone more towards leaning forward and not coming up as much. And so I want everything to be leaning forward. Lydia is pretty low on the water. I'm okay with that. I think, you have your breaststrokers like Adam Peaty and Lily King who come up so much, and I think it's just, that's hard for everybody to do and still be really good. I think you gain there's more potential when you come up to shoot forward, but there's also more potential for things to slow down and for there to be flaws and for it not to be as good. So I'm okay if your chest doesn't come out of the water as much. It doesn't look as cool, doesn't look as good, but I would say it can still be really fast, and it has probably more chance for more people to be good at it.
Ya, pertanyaan kedua tadi, ada batasan nggak untuk gaya dada itu, dadanya harus ada di mana? Nah, penjelasan dari Rasa tadi nggak ada batasan. Jadi kita lihat perenang seperti ada Vicky sama Lily King memang naiknya tinggi supaya dia bisa lemparannya bisa lebih kuat dan jauh ke depan. Tapi itu tidak mudah dilakukan. Ya, lebih mudah dilakukan adalah nggak masalah kalau kita naiknya nggak tinggi, tapi lebih condong ke depan. Karena itu lebih mudah dilakukan dan lebih bisa sukses di banyak perenang ketimbang niru yang sesuatu yang bisa dilakukan cuma beberapa orang aja.
Next question.
Lanjut pertanyaan.
Oke, tadi saya lihat di video, jadi ada pada saat gerakan ngambil nafas itu ada yang dia dengan sengaja menggerakkan leher untuk mengangkat kepala. Satu. Yang kedua, di kolam saya biasanya untuk mengajarkan ngambil nafas kayak gada itu dengan gerakan back up. Apakah itu bisa diterangkan dengan coach? Terima kasih.
The first one, he saw on a video that someone used his neck just to get breathe in breath. So using the neck to take a breath.
I think it's like moving the neck. I think it's okay. It's just like I guess you don't want to overdo it too much. Like moving the neck. I like to see the head more staying connected to the body. The head is tilting. That's okay. But trying to lift the neck and move from the neck, I think just a lot of potential for hips to move along with that, as opposed to if you're just tilting your head versus lifting from your neck and getting your head out of line. There's just a lot more opportunity. I guess I don't remember which video he would have been referring to, but yeah, I guess in general, just being careful if you're moving from the neck too much, what it's doing to the hips.
Ya, tidak disarankan sih ya bergerak terlalu banyak dari leher, karena kalau kita bergerak dari leher biasanya efeknya pinggulnya akan turun. Ya, jadi lebih pakai badannya untuk ambil nafas. Kemudian, soalnya tadi mau nggak ingat yang mana yang video yang dimaksud. Ya, tapi ya intinya gerakan leher nggak boleh terlalu banyak. Kemudian, and the second question is, he's training swimmers to do a backup for breaststroke breathing.
To do what?
Backup. Is that okay? Backup. Yeah, like your like that.
On land?
Strengthening.
I guess it's not as, I've never really thought of it, I guess, using that as it's not bad. I think there's some good lower back strengthening that's very good and probably very universal. It's because when you're breathing, I guess the hands in different places changes. Yeah, I think it works. Yeah, not bad.
Boleh-boleh aja sih dalamnya, ya kan? Kalau ya latihan backup juga boleh-boleh aja, tapi posisi tangannya kan kalau kita berenang nggak di belakang ya, jadi tapi ya boleh-boleh aja untuk melatih kekuatan umum bagian bawah.
Next question.
Okay, thank you. I want ask you about timing drill. But I know my swimmer breaststroke timing is wrong. But I don't know to fix this.
So how do you fix it? You know that the timing is wrong,
Yeah.
and you want to maybe advise on how to fix it. So to me, what I see is when people are wrong with the timing, what you see is I think very accurate. That you're right that the timing is wrong. So what is typically happening though is the feet are coming up too slow. So usually the hands are fine. The feet are coming up just slowly and not firing at the right time because the feet are coming up so slowly. So the most common thing that I have to say, well, there's two things you can say. You can say slow down the hands, but most common is you have to bring the heels up fast. So it's hamstring. It's in the back of the hamstring. Bringing the heels up fast. So that is the most common thing to fixing the timing and breaststroke is the heels have to come up fast. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Heels have to come up like
Okay.
fast, 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 not slow and fast.
Ya, jadi pertanyaan tadi ada perenang yang timingnya nggak pas, kita udah lihat nggak pas, gimana cara perbaikinya. Ya, biasanya kalau untuk asal yang membuat timing itu nggak pas itu adalah tarikan kakinya lambat. Ya, tarikan kaki lambat, tendangannya sih cepat, cuma tarikan kaki lambat atau tendangan kakinya terlalu pelan, terlalu lebar. Biasanya gerakan tangan itu nggak masalah. Ya, gerakan kaki yang membuat tangan itu nggak pas. Jadi ya sarannya adalah kalau dilatih supaya tumitnya bisa cepat ke atas. Melatihnya supaya tangannya cepat ada tumit cepat ke atas. Dilatih ke atas. Jadi fokusnya di tumitnya yang narik. Ya, bisa juga dilambatin gerakan tangannya, tapi itu biasanya kakinya yang buat tangannya nggak pas.
Okay, can show me video drill timing.
Do you have the video timing video?
Timing is real. I mean, not really. I would say because I guess a lot of it is in. Yeah, I mean, I would say a lot of it is in just forcing the feet up because I think if you bring the feet up at the timing, bring the feet up faster. I don't know how to, I guess the drill is what I was saying with the vertical kick, bring the feet up fast. That's the problem with timing, is the feet come up slow. So you bring the feet up fast and you force people to think about that. Most people think about only pushing that fast. So as I mentioned with the vertical kicking, it is like when you're trying to do 10 kicks in 6 seconds, it's bringing the feet up and down fast. And so it just, again, activates the hamstring. So, it's not so much how, like when you bring your feet up fast, it fits into what Cole's doing a whole lot better.
Ya, jadi nggak ada
Ada ya.
contoh video drillnya. Tapi kan tadi sudah diajarkan yang vertical kick, kalau anak itu bisa tendangan 10 kali dalam 6 detik, itu sudah cukup cepat tendangannya ya. Kalau dia bisa tendang 10 kali dalam 6 detik, biasanya sih timing itu akan bisa masuk lagi, nggak terlalu miss.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for Russell. I have I want to ask about two things. First of all, thank you for the new, so much new for us. First, hands. In traditional knowledge, hands, we have to close our feet. Okay? Now, you teach us, you really have to make triangle, right? Triangle, that's the first. I will teach our kids about this thing. And number two, when kids first learning about breast kick, we teach them to open their legs and then kick, open, kick, and close the legs. And then come up after about 2, 3, or 4 years there, practice breast kick. We told them hold the board with their feet and then open only their knees. Okay? Is it okay, or is it something new? We only have to pull, kick, pull, kick, pull, kick. Pull, open their knees, and then kick. How about that? Because my friends have their kid already retired from swimming because injury in their knees.
Yeah.
So the first, the new is only pulling only like that.
Yeah. So with the pull, you said, I still think it's important to close the armpit, and the elbows can come close to the body. They just can't come within the body. So your elbows, you can close the armpit, and then shoot forward from there. So it's not going more narrow and then shooting forward. It's just shooting forward. It's not squeezing the elbows in front of the body. So still close the armpit next to the body, and then go forward from there. And so still, it's not keeping the arms, you don't have to keep the arms this far out. I think maybe you see some people do that, but you could still have the elbows come close here, just not here. Sorry, you wanna?
Ya, jadi untuk gerakan tangan itu memang untuk segitiga, tapi bukan berarti sikunya harus jauh dari badan ya. Tetap oke, nempel badannya. Nggak boleh adalah kalau zaman dulu ya, zaman saya dulu masih berenang, itu disuruh begini kan, yang kuat suruh jepit. Tapi sekarang enggak, ya kan. Tapi bukan berarti harus jauh di sini. Ya, itu yang pertama supaya kita bisa nembaknya lebih cepat ke depan.
And then with the kick, yeah, it's somewhere in between. I think that's what makes it hard. Because opening the legs and then closing the legs, it's not right. But then also keeping the knees too tight, that's not right. And then keeping injuries, not with bad injuries, but keeping the legs, keeping the knees too narrow and trying to force people to then kick around like that can also put some strain on the knees. This can put some strain on it's your adductors and abductors. It's this in-out motion, which also is in there. So it's definitely a lot more, I would say, it ends up being more in the groin is where the kick is. But hopefully not a strain, because if you're basically, your knees are normal, you're setting up like you're jumping, and then you're basically kicking out. So it's like that. It is a little bit more, hopefully a little bit more natural. And obviously it's harder to do on land, but you're setting up more normally, and you're extending just a little bit out as you're kicking. And that should be hopefully a little bit more natural than someone who has to squeeze the knees or also kick way out here, which actually, you see Lydia's kick is a little bit more wide around. That's a little bit more unnatural, but more unique to her. And Michelangelo also like that.
Oke, jadi latih kakinya tadi kan memang zaman dulu kali ya masih jadi tarik, buka, tutup kan. Tapi itu instruksinya salah. Tadi kan bilangnya kalau awalnya dilatih tarik, buka, tutup, kemudian pas udah mulai agak lumayan dewasa mulai dikasih papan di pahanya, ya kan, supaya tenagannya jadi kecil. Tapi menurut Russell itu kalau instruksinya dari kecil salah nanti agak susah banyak juga gitu. Terus kalau kita kasih papan itu lututnya juga malah jadi lebih rentan cedera kalau terlalu kecil. Jadi ya sarannya sih dilatih di darat ya, di posisi kayak mau loncat, kayak tadi dari peragain. Jadi posisinya posisi natural sebetulnya, posisi lututnya. Yang penting instruksi dari awal sih, kalau menurut saya ya. Yang penting instruksinya adalah disuruh menghentak tendangannya ke belakang, bukan dibuka tapi tendang ke belakang.
And let's do one more question. If there's another question, and then we'll do lunch. No, I'm not ready for lunch.
Okay.
Terima kasih. Masih ada kesalahan Pak ya. Begini, waktu di paparan awal itu kan dijelaskan bahwa untuk flexibility itu not constant hand speed, not pulling harder. Oke. Tapi di bagian berikutnya itu kan ada breaststroke range. Jadi tempo antara 200, 100 dan 50 otomatis kan berbeda ya. Nah, pada saat kita 50 itu kan high tempo. Bagaimana kita tidak bisa faster than speed pada saat kita temponya lebih cepat? Kemudian yang kedua, untuk 200 breaststroke, rata-rata perenang dunia itu kan cenderung negatif split ya. Itu bagaimana cara cara treatmentnya supaya bisa negatif split seperti itu? Atau dia flat holding pace ya, cenderung holding pace bukan negatif split. Itu bagaimana caranya? Terima kasih.
Okay, so that's all. How to train someone based on this
This one.
this slide? Yeah, it's going faster. You know, like the last 15. So how to train to get this?
So, okay, so it's this slide. How to train to get this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, again, it's less glide, feet come up faster. So here's the thing, I'll show you a different slide. This is very difficult for sure. I mean, but I would say this is right here. So this swimmer right here, second 50 of a 200. It's the slowest tempo. Same swimmer, last 50 of a 200. Fastest tempo. Slowest tempo, fastest tempo, same swimmer. This was the world record swim 3, 4, 5 years ago. Very recent. Same swimmer, slowest tempo, fast swimmer. Watch the hands. Watch the hands. And so, hands, the same hands, maybe a little bit in front, the same hands the same, hands the same. Hands the same from here to here. Do that again. Same. Same. Hands the same. But very different tempo. 2 times faster than this. This is 2 times faster speed than this. Gliding less. Not holding the hands out. Also, you see the feet. Coming up, but starting the same time, but kicking at different times. So, looking at the timing of the feet. Same. A little bit different, but same in terms of the kick hasn't started yet. Oh, let me start that over. Sorry. Okay, starting the feet, starting to bring up the feet, same time. This kick is gonna come up faster. The heels will come up faster. So how do you teach this? I think that's the hardest thing, is that in freestyle, in backstroke, you wanna go faster, you move your arms faster. In breaststroke, you wanna go faster, you don't move your arms faster. Yes, you move them faster here. But you don't move them faster here. And so I don't know how to teach that. It's like, it's practicing, it's understanding. And here, it goes back to what I was saying yesterday. All the best people have this best technique they learn naturally we are all trying to get people, we're all trying to teach people how to do that, what the best people are doing naturally. Because it's unnatural for most people. And that's why those people are so good. It's like, how do I teach people not to move their arms faster and only to move their feet faster?
Ya, kalau jawabannya sebetulnya kita semua itu kan belajar dari perenang-perenang yang secara natural ini memang bagus dan jadi juara dunia gitu. Jadi kalau caranya untuk bisa seperti Shin Hayang tadi, table tadi ya, intinya kalau dilihat dari video, seberapa cepat turbin itu bisa diangkat, itu yang bisa membuat naiknya naik. Ya, gaya dada ini paling unik karena kalau gaya bebas kita bisa suruh atlet kita untuk berenang cepat dengan menggerakkan tangannya atau powernya lebih besar dan lebih dorongannya lebih kuat ke belakang. Gaya dada enggak, gaya dada bukan berarti kalau tangannya lebih cepat berenangnya bisa lebih cepat, enggak. Memang lebih luncurannya yang diperpendek, tapi gerakan tangannya itu sama. Berarti gerakan kakinya yang bisa lebih cepat. Jadi seberapa cepat tumitnya bisa ditarik ke belakang dan supaya kembali menghentak ke bawah. Jadi ya itu sih jawabannya. Jadi agak susah juga ya.
Yeah, I mean, I would say breaststroke is always a challenge, but I do think there's a lot of things that we can teach people, even though a lot of people think that breaststroke is only for people that are natural breaststrokers, but you always, as a coach, you're trying to get people to be better, even if they can't beat the world record holder, you're still trying to get them faster. So hopefully I've given you some ideas that can help. And we're talking about, I would say, the things, it's so different from how breaststroke, we used to talk about breaststroke when I first started, talking about breaststroke 10, 15, 20 years ago. And so what we've seen in the US is your breaststroke hasn't improved that much. So we need to talk about it differently. And in the rest of the world, breaststroke has gotten so fast. The men's 200 breaststroke has gotten so fast. The only country that has multiple breaststrokers getting that fast is Japan. And everybody else is like one breaststroker from Iceland, one breaststroker from the US, one breaststroker from Russia, one breaststroker from South Africa. And so it just, how do you have countries or countries that have multiple breaststrokers that are just as good? So I would say we just need to think about it different. We need to start thinking about it different. We try something different.
Ya, jadi intinya gaya dada ini kan memang agak berbeda stroke ini ya. Jadi nggak semua orang punya talenta bisa berenang gaya dada dengan cepat. Ya, nggak semua orang kita arahkan untuk menjadi seorang juara. Kalau dibilang juara dunia, juara. Tapi at least kita harus mengajarkan atau punya ide untuk mengarahkan atlet kita itu menjadi yang terbaik untuk sesuai dengan potensinya. Kita harus cari cara gitu. Ya, kita bisa belajar dari Jepang yang mengeluarkan banyak sekali perang-perang juara kayak dada ya. Kalau di luar Jepang mungkin cuma satu orang Jepang keluar terus gitu banyak. Ya, itu gimana caranya kita menemukan suatu cara atau ide untuk memperbaiki atlet-atlet yang gaya dadanya mungkin dari penglihatan kita belum sempurna. Mungkin itu dari Russell. I think that's it, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Coach Russell and Coach Felix. Mind-blowing. Alright, I think a lot of gems, and I don't know, I'm just standing there amazed with all the information concerning breaststroke. Yeah. Alright, still more to come after lunch. Alright, makan siang, tapi juga makan siang. Sekarang pukul jam 12, so
back to the hall, jam 1. Jam 13, okay. Jam 13. After your lunch, please be back here. We have some announcements to make. So take your rest over lunch and then please be back here by 1 o'clock. Alright?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Sekali lagi.